Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is going to be part 4 of the eBay repair challenge between me, my mate Vince, and Steve from TronicsFix. So it's basically UK versus US. We have to buy 5 items from eBay, try to repair them, and sell the 5 items on eBay again. So on the first part 1, I repaired a Hornby train, and it went really well. And I sold it for quite a lot more money than I bought it for, which was good. Part 2, I bought a PlayStation Vita with a faulty analog stick, and I sold that, and it went really well. So if you have a look here, I sold it for £74 plus £4.99. Part 3, I repaired an Xbox One S with a dodgy HDMI port and also dodgy power button here. And again, that went really well. This is currently for sale at the moment, and it's going for silly money. It's up on I think it's nearly £200, which is unbelievable. So in this video today, it's going to be part 4. Now, Steve's also doing really well. First part, he did a PlayStation 4 Slim, which just had a dodgy disk drive here. Second one, he did a Nintendo Switch, which he got fixed up and working. And the third one, believe it or not, he did an Xbox One S with a faulty HDMI port and a faulty button at the front, just like mine, but his was a sync button down here. So honestly, these are not plans. If they were planned, we wouldn't both be fixing the same thing on the same part. That is just coincidence. So in this video today, it's going to be part 4, and I think you're going to like this one. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, so in here we have the 4th item. So let's open it up and show it to you. So I'm excited about this one. I absolutely loved these when I was a kid, and because I've got a son, I actually got some of them to try and get him into them. He does like them. He wasn't not really as obsessed as I was with them, but I was probably obsessed with them because they were so expensive. Still expensive now, but they were so expensive that you kind of, when you can't have something, you want it more and more. Now, I did have one when I was a kid, but it was a second-hand one. So then when I had my own son, when he got to that sort of age where I thought he'd be able to use it, then I got, not one, I actually got 3 of them over the over so many years, and built them up and stuff. So they don't get used. I wouldn't say they get used every week, but once a month they have an outing, and then they're the sort of thing that he would be interested in them from, you know, now up until, well, up until whatever age really. I'm still into it now, so I don't really think they have an age limit on them. Probably wondering what it is. Right, okay. Oh, it's like Christmas. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh. Oh, how good is that? No, it looks well used, but that's the whole point. I think they should be well used. Listen to that sound. Oh, a few flat spots in the tyres. That's definitely been lying. Look at that. That's definitely been lying down for quite a few years, hasn't it? Lying in the same spot. Right, okay. It's certainly going to need a bit of work. Right, so it is a Tamiya radio control car. This one is a Ford Escort. Myself, I'm not massively into the Ford Escorts, but I just really like Tamiya. I think they're 4-wheel drive. Yeah, I can see the drive shafts there in the front and back. So also you can see the differential as well. When I move it this way, it goes the other way like a real car. Yeah. Okay, that feels slightly stiff, but it's moving. Excellent. Oh, look at that. The front wheels go round as well because it's 4-wheel drive. So looking forward to doing this one. Right, let's see what else we got in here. Okay, we've got the Techni Plus. So these are the ones with the actual crystal in. So they're not like the newer ones, which are, you know, which just swap signal depending on who you're playing with. Will just jump onto the next signal. So with these, you've got to make sure the crystal's the same as this one, and if you're playing with someone else, you have to have different crystals. Oh, look at that. Ah, okay. Right, so that's a charger. As you can tell, this is quite an old one. Right, so that is it. So it doesn't look like there's any battery with it, which I suppose is understandable because maybe the battery from years ago would have been gone by now. Let me just double check in the actual car itself. No battery with it. Right, okay. I know I'm going to have to spend money on this. Obviously there's no tyres on the back and stuff, but what I'm hoping to do is, you know, strip it all down and get it working nice. Let me show you what I paid for it. Right, so if you have a look here, I paid. It was on an auction, so we were all bidding for it. I won the last bid at £52.52p, and it cost me £12 to post. So that's £64.52, which is it's not cheap. I don't really know the price of them second hand. I think this is a slightly rarer model. I know, for example, you can get the reproduction grasshoppers, because a lot of these came out in the 80s and stuff, and now you see they've been reproduced again. I believe using the original machining, because with the original tooling, because when I got my grasshopper one, which is a reproduction one, on the actual parts, you know, when you take the parts off the kind of thing that they come on you, where you snap them out, it actually had like whatever it was, I can't remember, like 1984 or 1982 written on it. So it looks like they're using the original tooling, but this is an original one, so I don't know whether they would go for more than the reproduction ones. But basically, reproduction ones are, the grasshopper is about, when I got it, I think it was about £106 or £107, that sort of price. So obviously this is expensive, but this is a more expensive car. It's four-wheel drive, and it's going to be a lot more than the grasshopper anyway, because the grasshopper's only got a smaller 380 motor in it. I don't know what's in this one. I don't know whether it's 540 or whether it's some sort of Technigold or something. I'm not too sure. But anyway, it says here, Tamiya Escort RS Cosworth spares or repair, including ACOM, whatever, transmitter and charger. And it just says here, this was a Christmas present years ago, but now needs some TLC. Escort RS Cosworth, rolling chassis, ACOM's Technoplus 2-channel transmitter, ACOM, don't know what that says, AS12 servo, Ryco fast charger. Please note, these have not been used for some years, so are not tested. Great project. Yes, so that's it. When I seen this one, I thought, well, this is absolutely perfect. I actually bid on this one a little while ago, so it's going to be perfect for this competition. Right, okay, let's put the laptop away and then see what happens. I have to get a battery from one of my other ones and see if we have any power in it. Okay, so I've got the 7.2 volt battery from one of my other Tamiya models, and I'm just going to pop some batteries in the controller over here. Should take 8 from memory. And what we're going to do is, I mean, this all looks lovely and clean. What we're going to do is we're just going to see, I don't know whether I'm taking a risk or not, because if it hadn't been turned on in a long time, I might end up, you know, there might be a chance of damaging it. But I just want to see, if the servos move, if the wheels, you know, if it attempts to work or not. And then what I intend to do is strip it all down and, you know, add grease and stuff into the gearbox. And this is for the little switch. There's a little speed controller switch in here. Different than the ones nowadays. The ones years ago, you'll see when I take it apart. But from memory, they had 3... I think it was 3 speeds on the forward and a couple of speeds on the back. Can't quite remember, but nowadays it's like, I don't know if linear is the right word, so for example it goes up in tiny increments, so but years ago it was in steps. Now when it was put away all those years ago, if it was working when it was put away, there's a chance that it might all work now, or maybe it was put away because it was faulty. Oh, that turns on. Okay, so that's good. Going to put the trim and everything to the middle. Reverse, I presume that means if you do those switches it reverses them, so right is then left and left is right. Right, okay, let's put the battery in it. Whoa. Oh, that was off. Oh, that was off, and it went on already. Right, okay, something's not right there. Okay, well, it's definitely off here, and it's going off on one. So, but let me just turn this on, see if that makes a difference. You should always have the transmitter on first, but let me just see. Right, okay, that's not right. Turn that off. Maybe the speed controller's jammed in the high position. So let's just take this body off. Now I haven't done any research into it because I never had this model or anything like this model, but I believe that the same chassis was done for loads of these. That's pretty detailed, isn't it? That's nice on the inside there. I like that. Okay, I think these are really good clean. Alright, here it is. Look at that. Right, so that should be in the middle there. That's what you need a switch lubricant for. Let me put it in the middle, and now let's try putting it in. So this is a little speed controller here. There's a little, the servo moves this forward and back depending on, you'll see it when I take it apart, but depend on where this is. You can see that there's 3, so that middle one must be off. So maybe I was wrong, maybe there's just 2 positions forward and 2 positions back, so kind of like medium speed, full speed and off, and backwards medium speed and full speed, and this just taps these contacts to let it know how much you know, power to put to the motor. Okay, good, see it's not going crazy now. Let's turn it on here, and now let's turn it on here, see what it does. Okay. Okay, well it is responding there. Let's just try to, no, okay, that's... No, and it's still going off now. Uh-oh. Put it on here. Right, well the motor's working, it looks like, you know, the drive chains, everything working, but it's not actually doing what I want it to do. Could it, where's the aerial? The aerial's here. Right, I don't really know why it's going crazy like that. Don't really know. And also it doesn't make a difference whether I have it on or off. You think when it's on or off it should cut the power. I'm going to try turn it on again now that it's on here. Hopefully I'll have more chance. Right, so it's like that. I just want to see if this, when I turn it on, if the steering works. The steering's working. Oh, that's off. I love that sound. Well, I mean, when I hold it there, it's actually behaving itself quite well. So there we go, if it's there now. Maybe it just all needs trimming up. I'm not quite sure why that servo is so out. Maybe I need to undo this and then put it back in, you know, turn it all off and then make sure it's central and then put this back on. Tyres feel very hard, but I'm going to need to buy two new tyres for the back, so maybe they come in sets of 4. Also, you can see here now the trim's right the way over that side and the steering's still off. So if I have the trim in the middle, the steering's off as well. So maybe just all the servos need resetting. Well, first impressions are, it's very good. I mean, I'm not quite sure why it went crazy when it was in the off position. It's definitely not working now. Well, okay, I think I am going to take it completely apart and basically just clean everything up and then grease everything again. Need to get a battery for it, and I need to get 4 sets of tyres. I'm not sure whether there's supposed to be bumpers on this or not. It looks like there's two holes. I'm wondering, originally, would there been a bumper to cover the wheels here and for the back? I'm not too sure, so I need to look into that. These ones here, I don't know if they're oil shocks or whether they're just normal. I think, no, I can't tell. I'm not sure how you would know the difference. I know that I had a Monster Beetle years ago, and I'm pretty sure that had oil shocks in it, but I don't know about these ones. But you can just see it's filthy. Everything needs a real good. It's not just mud. There's dust and everything in here. But you know, as I take it apart, there might be things missing on it. But right now, I'm really happy with it. It seems like it's mostly intact. I'm thinking that's just a 540 motor. It's just like a silver can, so I'm thinking it's like the 540 from the like I've got a Lunchbox and a Clodbuster. I'll show you my other collection later on in the video. Well, okay, really happy with that. Not sure if there's a way of restoring these tyres. They do feel very hard. Maybe if I was to put them in warm water or something, would they then regain their shape again? Oh no, look, it's cracked there. Okay, so 100% I'm going to have to buy 4 new tyres, which is fine because these have a real flat spot on them anyway, where they've been sat for all those years up in the attic or wherever this was stored. So basically that's what this video is going to be. Maybe not so much a fix-it video because it's all, you know, it's all already working. It's just going to be a stripping down and giving everything a real good clean, and you know, seeing why these servos here are not centered, because it wouldn't have been built like this. It would have been built like that, but right now they seem to be in that position. So it might be just a case of taking them off and reseating them. Maybe I just need to adjust these arms here to pull them in tight or pull them out. With this one here, again, I'm not sure. I'll have to you know, take it apart and find out exactly what's going on. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, I'm obviously going to have to be fast forwarding through most of it because it's going to take me ages to take this apart. But what I will do is I will stop on any of the you know, the bits that I think might be interesting. Look at that, that's the bit for the 4-wheel drive, you see, to bring the power from the back to the front, just this little thing here. So obviously that's all going to need greasing. Hopefully we might be able to get it running smooth. I'm hoping that you can get these tyres. They look a certain design, so I want to keep it original. Keep it original if I can. Right, let's get stripping this down. See, the reason it didn't centre on that could be as simple as this. If you look here, can you see that this isn't actually level? It should be more screwed down there, look. And when you screw it there, it pushes it ever so slightly in that direction. I don't know whether that would be enough to, you know, move it, but if that was screwed down properly there, that would pull it over that way just about. Look, you can see it, especially if I give it a little helping hand. Yeah? A speed controller over, so a lot of people replace this with like a new ESC electronic speed controller, the ones that are more linear like I described. But you know what, I'm gonna keep it as this one because I think it's nice for it to be all vintage. And I know it sounds silly, but you know, the ones that I've got at the moment, I know it's going to cause more damage on the older type when I explain what I used to like to do. But on the new type now, basically you go forward, and then to go into reverse you have to press back once on here, and then you have to press back again to go into reverse. So you're going forward, and then when you press back it basically slows it down, and then you press back again to go into reverse, which is fine. Now I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe like if you were really into it and you were to go racing, like, you know, not professionally, but you know, if you were to join a club and go racing, I don't think you're allowed to go backwards on a race. That's probably why they do it. But what I used to love doing when I was younger was basically going forward and then putting it back and skidding it round corners and stuff. And I know it's not good for the gearbox, but you know, it is more fun in my opinion that way. So I'm quite looking forward, if I can get this, you know, up and running on the road, then you know, using it that way. Although it's not good for it,
it is more fun. So in my instance, I'm going to keep this because this reminds me of my monster beetle years ago. I think this is just stuck down with a sticky pad. Yeah, it is, yeah. So here we have the receiver. So this is the transmitter, and this is transmitting the signal out. For example, I want to go forward, and then this is receiving it, and then basically you can see here it's the same crystal. So I'm not sure if that's orange or brown, but RX band 1, receive band 1, TX band 1. So you have to make sure you put the TX in the transmitter, TX for transmit, and RX to receive. Then this receives it, and you can see the servos are then attached into here, as well as the switch. Okay, so the switch goes into here as well. Where does that one go? I forgot where that one goes. Oh, to the speed controller. Right, okay, so from here then, we've got one outlet to the speed controller, one for to let the speed controller, one to the servo to control the speed controller, and then the other one to the servo to control the steering. So this one down here is just another servo on its side down here. Yeah, like that. Now I'm not sure if it matters. Well, of course it matters, doesn't it? So basically, channel 2 is for the speed control. Oh, there you go, and it says it here. Channel 2. So this is the speed control here, and channel 1 is for the steering. And if you have a look here, the servo down here is connected to channel 1, this bottom one. On the battery, they've given me little grooves so I know which way to put it back in, because if you have a look, there's like 3 pins there, but just here there's a few little grooves, and I can't actually fit this one on that side, so it has to go that way round on the last 2 pins there. There we go, so that's the transmitter. So obviously, sorry, the receiver. So this can be put into anything. It doesn't have to be into a car. This could be into a boat, for example, or I don't know whether it be too heavy for an aeroplane. I don't know whether aeroplanes use different ones or not. But a good thing about these is they work a really good distance away. I mean, I've never let it go to the limit, but I've certainly been driving the Tamiya ones like easily 60, 70 meters away, and they work fine. Obviously when you get to that distance you can't really fully see what's going on, but here we go. I've got a load of dust and dirt and stuff in here, which is good because it shows it's been well used, and that's just a bit of sticky stuff down at the bottom. Still sticky, you can see all the stones on it. Right, and this is our servo here, or one of them. And if you have a look here, we've got a hole at the back here, so it looks like you can put the aerial up through there, from the receiver, this thing here. Also, I need to buy like the straw type thing that this goes through, because otherwise this is going to fall on the ground and just get ripped to shreds. But you can also put it up through here as well, because some cars have it coming out through this bit here. Yeah, so that's why this chassis, you see, can be used with various different cars. That's the steering servo out, and again you can see it's just like before. So this is where you would adjust it so you get perfect. Would this be the toe in and toe out? No, it wouldn't. No, this is just how much left and right it would be. There must be something else you adjust to for the toe in and toe out. Okay, so these are the little clips that you pop in to make the suspension stiffer and softer. So the more you put in, I presume the harder the suspension is going to be, because it's making the spring smaller. So I suppose the less it's going to travel, maybe the less bouncy it would be. That feels nice. Well, I don't know whether you can take these ones apart or not and fill them with oil. Yes. Right, you can take it apart there. Let's see if there's anything on the inside. Yes, excellent, there's oil in there. Right, so these must be oil-filled ones then. I need to look into that a bit more. All looks very clean. The whole model looks good. I mean, yes, it's dusty and dirty, but that's fine. That just means it's being used. I think that's what they should look like. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to make it immaculate, but it's nice to see something that's used. Not, I believe they're called shelf queens. Same as a garage queen for a car that's never used. These are shelf queens if they're never used. But yeah, okay, that's good. Now, I haven't got any oil to refill these, but if the oil looks clean, then I mean, would it go off in there? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. But they certainly seem to be doing their job. The date actually says down there 1990. I didn't think it was that old, but maybe they, maybe this part is that old, but then the actual car itself might have come out in later years, made in Japan. I'll have to double check the age of this. Right, now I am going to be dismantling this completely because I want to get to the gearbox in here to give it a nice grease up. Take a good look at this now at the camera because remember, I haven't got the instruction manual to put it back together, and it's amazing how quickly you forget. It's in really good condition. Right, so I'll temporarily put it back together, but I'm going to clean all these bits and then bring them back to, grease them up with fresh grease. Right, so you can see that this is the gear that feeds the wheels, and then there's another one up here. There must be some sort of bevel gear that converts this one here into a right angled one in this bit here. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on here at the moment just to keep it as clean as possible. But obviously this will all be getting stripped out and cleaned. Okay, so that's it there, that's how it works there. It's lovely, isn't it? Do you know, I'm going to have another look at this gear down the bottom, because that must be a differential gear at the bottom, because when I go that way the other one's spinning the other way. So I just want to take that bottom gear out just to see how it works. But that's simple enough. They all look to be in good condition. Still loads of grease in there. Still working really nice. Again, I'm just going to cover it up for the time being, but I will strip this down. Give it all a clean on the inside. I hope I've got enough grease to do all this, because my grease is only that big. I sort of forgot that four-wheel drive is going to have two gearboxes, so it's going to take more grease. The idea of differential is, could be wrong here, but when a car goes around a corner, the inner wheel is going to spin a lot less than the outer wheel. So pretend now if a car was doing a sharp corner, this wheel, if you were turning left, this wheel here is going to rotate less than this one here. I think that's it, and I think also if one wheel gets stuck, it sends twice the power to the other wheel, or something along those lines. But I think the main thing is for cornering. But if I'm wrong, I'll definitely be picked up on that in the comments below. Okay, so there's going to be more gears inside this one. Ah, lovely, check that out. There we go, look at that. Okay, so this is what allows one to turn one way and the other to turn the other way. There you go. You see? Very clever. Again, there's nothing broken there, everything looks really good. Really good, I've been so lucky with this one. So I'll have to strip all them down and put fresh grease in it. Though the grease does look good, but while I've got it apart I might as well give it all a good clean. Good job of wore gloves, it's a bit of a dirty job. Okay, so that is the front gearbox all separated, so now I've got to concentrate on the back gearbox and the back suspension. Take the motor out, and then it's just going to be a case of giving everything a really good clean. I'm going to, you know, not obviously not the motor and stuff, but everything else I'm going to put in a sink full of warm soapy water and give everything a really good clean, degrease everything, and then start again from fresh. So now I'm going to dismantle the back suspension, the gearbox, and also the motor as well. Right, okay, I can see that one of these posts here are broken. If you look here, this post goes all the way out and this one is snapped in here. So I'm going to have to look into getting a replacement one of them, unless I can super glue it back on together to make a strong connection. I'm thinking that maybe with the movement of the motor slightly forward and backwards, that maybe there's a lot of pressure on these posts. So this is slightly different than the front one. Not quite sure how this one goes together. Oh, there we go, it comes apart there. Yeah, I'm not sure if that goes together like the front one or not, or whether it's sealed like that. Don't know. The motor turns this small one here, which in turn turns the big one, which turns this bevel gear, which then turns the drive shaft that goes up to the front to spin the front wheels, and then this one goes onto this one, which then spins this big one here that goes onto the back wheels. So it doesn't look like there's anything broken in there, it all looks good, just needs a clean and a re-grease. Okay, so that is everything dismantled. Now when it comes to things like this, I'm just going to do the dismantling when I'm cleaning it, so I know how to put it back together. So what I need to do is I need to measure up these tyres. I need to get 4 new tyres. I need to get the straw for the aerial part, the antenna. I need to look in to see whether I can buy a spare one of these, and I also need to see if it comes with any bumpers or not. When it comes to the speed controller, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use IPA to give it a real good clean, and a fiberglass pen, the brush thing, just to scrape each of these just to get them nice and clean again. And I've got some special contact stuff for that, so that should work nice. And basically give everything a real good deep clean with nice warm soapy water and get it all looking good again. I need to take the body apart here and clean the inside of it, get all the dust and dirt out of it, give everything a real good clean. And I'm hoping then it's gonna work well. The main thing is I need to see if I can get these spares, so I need to go online now and find out what's going on with them. But the way it all went, you know, the way it all dismantled was really good. I mean, it was put together nice. There was nice grease everywhere. Nothing was too hard to undo. It looks like it was a real good one. So yeah, so far really happy with this. Next time you see it, everything's going to look a lot cleaner. Okay, so I haven't cleaned anything yet, but I've been doing plenty of research on this car and I've been buying up spares for it. So, this particular car came out in 21st of September 1993. I don't know when this actual one was made or sold, but that's when the model was produced. It's basically Tamiya number 58125. It's a Michelin Pilot Ford Escort RS Cosworth. It's got the TA01 chassis, so that's the first time they went over to this one where you know, it could be used on various different models. You can tell it's a TA01 because it's grey in colour, and basically it's got a kind of elongated bit here rather than black in colour and the round hole. What else did I learn about it? I learned that I'm going to have to get a new charger because this charger is for NiCad battery packs, and they were the ones you used to get years ago. The problem is that they're not that you know, they're not that efficient. So the battery packs nowadays are basically
NIMH, which is nickel metal hydride or hydride, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And basically you can have up to 50% more power from the same size of battery. So that's why now it lasts much longer. I remember with my Monster Beetle when I was a kid, you'd bring it out and 5 minutes later the battery would be gone. But now you see they're much more powerful for the same size. So I've ordered up, I think it was, let me just double check. It's 3,300 milliamp hours, which is pretty big, you know, and it's not that expensive. So I had a look in the instructions. You can get the instructions from these online, so I've downloaded them, like a PDF on every single page, so it's fantastic. So I know exactly what parts to get, exactly what colour, I know what everything is. There's a lot of support for Tamiya out there. And with this one, I think came a 1400 milliamp hour battery and also a 1700. And I think the 1700 one was a sport one. I don't know what makes it a sport one. Maybe it charges up faster or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're NiCad battery packs, and that's not what you buy nowadays. So unfortunately, this charger is redundant. Some people say that you can do it if you use the slow charge, then the quick charge, then 2 slow chargers, but I'm not going to get involved with that. It's a shame because if you peel that off, you can see it's all in very good condition, but I'm not going to get involved with that because I don't want to send this out if it's going to cause a problem on the new battery I've bought. So yeah, so I've had to buy a new battery. What else have I learned about this? I know about the colour, the numbers of the colour and everything like that. So looking around this closely, I've kind of got to thinking now, because you know, although it looks well used, everything is here. So I'm going to make a real good attempt of getting it not just working well, but looking good as well. So I know it looks really bashed up at the moment, but I've bought spares for it. So if you look closely, the steering wheel's missing. Now I know it's a bit silly to go into like fine detail like this, but if I'm doing it, I want it to look good. So I've got a new steering wheel for it, and also the gear stick's missing. I've got a new gear stick for it. Unfortunately, I can't find the wing mirror. It's missing a wing mirror. I'm wondering if I could possibly try and make one with, I haven't got a 3D printer, but I have got a 3D pen. I'm wondering if I was to use a 3D pen and like a Dremel tool to sand it down. I wonder whether I could get something that could resemble a wing mirror. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just having anything sticking out there is probably better than nothing. So I may look into that. That might be too hard to do. But as well as that, I've bought up some paint as well, because as you can see, there's quite a few cracks and stuff in here, but it's not too bad. This is just like a bit of I don't know, some sort of sticker or transfer that goes on the front to make it, you know, just purely for the design. But there is a few cracks around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of plastic weld to try and heal those up a little bit. There's a crack at the back here. Again, I'm going to use plastic weld. And then, but most of it is just, whoops, made it worse now, but most of it is just paint cracking. You can see there. Yes, I could have just cleaned it all up, got new tyres, but I still needed to get a battery. If I'm getting a battery, I might as well get a charger. And then I thought to myself, this looks like quite a rare model. It looks like they fetch a lot of money on eBay. So I think in this one, it's worth tidying up as much as I can. And I wouldn't have been happy letting it go with the paint flaking and stuff. So I want to kind of make it look as good as it can be. It's never going to look as good as an immaculate one, but I want it to look as good as it can. One thing that doesn't look to be original is this thing here. I don't know what this actually means, but I can't find this on any of the instructions or any of the pictures. So not really sure why that's been put on there, but I'm going to take that one off, but everything else is staying. And yeah, so now next time you see it, hopefully it will be all clean, and I'm going to start working on this body shell here. With this here, this just, it velcros in, and that is the way it came. It came with Velcro, and you can see that the wing mirrors are just held on with little clips here. So I'm going to unclip this one here and see if I can make some kind of wing mirror. If it looks awful, then I won't put it on there, because it would look better probably having nothing there than having like a melted blob of plastic hanging off it. But yeah, that's it. That is it. So this is the thing I have to clean up. Unfortunately, the paint's missing from some bits, but I have to draw a line somewhere. I'm not then going to go and buy another grey paint, because you know, it's just going to increase the price all the time. But I'm thinking that this is going to come up, you know, I'm thinking that that is going to come up clean once I give it all a good wash. So now it's cleaning time. So many hours have passed. I've been cleaning this for what seems like an eternity. It's been spread over 2 days, but I am now finished, so it's ready for reassembly. Now, in hindsight, I should have got some degreaser. I think it would have been a lot quicker. but yeah, I've got rid of most of the dirt and grime. It wasn't that it was that dirty, it's just that, you know, oil and stuff builds up over the years. So if you look closely at the parts, you can still see in some of the crevices that there is still, you know, bits of dirt and stuff around the place, but it's, I would say, 95% clean. Things like the wheels here, I can't get any cleaner than that. Most of the problem is the transfers are all scratched up, but I've like dismantled absolutely everything. If you look at all the, well, actually not everything. If you look at all the gears there and all the little drive shafts and everything, I've taken them all apart and making them nice and, you know, nice and clean again. The one thing I didn't take apart was this ball differential here. So I partially took it apart, you know, to clean the bits that I could get to. But with this one, I believe that you have to put it together, tighten it up, and then see how it runs, and then slacken it off or retighten it after so many weeks. So I'm going to leave that because I'm assuming that the model is running fine. This was put together really well, so the person who did it must know what they're doing, in which case, and I'm going to leave that because I don't want to take that apart and then have to spend ages, you know, testing it and testing it and testing it. The shocks and everything all look good. I took the bottom off, took the spring off, gave them all a good clean. I've had a look in here, the oil looks nice and clean. It looks like to be, I think it's like a pink colour. So I haven't replaced the oil in that because they appear to be doing what they, you know, what they should be doing. So there's no need to, I don't think there's any need to, you know, replace that. So that's how you take it apart. You just lift that bit up there and then the spring pops out. But you know, they all appear to be working well. Cleaned up all the wires, everything, all this inside bit here, took the heads off, gave everything a clean. I think I might try to make the face a little bit more detailed. What I'll probably do is paint the eyes white and then, you know, put a bit of brown in there and a dot of black, or blue and a dot of black, just to make him look a little bit more realistic. But apart from that, you know, the inside kind of looks okay, especially when you're looking through the glass. Or the plastic. Now the body itself has come up nice and you know, nice and shiny again, but there's an awful lot of damage to it. But that's what I've bought the paints for. Now the paints have arrived today, so I can paint up all that yellow again, and then I can see what I'm working with. So I'm going to paint it first before I try to fix it. Otherwise the paint won't go through the glue. So that's what I'm going to be. That's what I'm going to be doing on that. Still waiting for this motor mount to arrive, but now it's just a case of basically reassembling it, and as and when the parts arrive I will fit them. So what I'm going to be doing is using the PDF on this little laptop here, because this gives you all the instructions from Tamiya, you know, the original instructions. So that's good, so I can copy that. And yeah, I'm going to be fast forwarding through this because obviously it's going to take a long time to reassemble it. I'm going to grease it where it needs greasing, and put, you know, the lubricant on that little speed controller over there. So I'm hoping by the time it's finished it's all going to be running really nice. So that's it now, let's get this reassembled. kind of screw everything down, I need to make sure the servo's in the right place, because once I screw this in I won't be able to get access to this again. So I'm going to plug it in, I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to plug it in, and I want everything to centre itself, and then I can work out where things need to go. Right, okay, so you can see now that that's not centred. Okay, I'm going to keep the trim in the middle. And now I know that this needs to go vertical from here. So when that's down there, the steering should be okay, but this is still really out. So I'm going to undo this one. Lift it up. Put it more in the middle. There we go. Now I think if the throw's too far, you can move this one to the inside. There's another little hole here on the servo, so you can move it to the inside one. So for example, if when I go forward it's going past it, then you can move it to the inside one and it'll be better. But that appears to be okay now. It's looking so good, look at that. Looks like a different model. So what I need to do now is I need to wait until the tyres arrive and also the motor mount arrives. So what I'm going to do is, in the meantime, I'm going to start working on the details, like just putting little eyes in this driver and on this driver as well, and then starting to neaten up the bodywork. Might even see if I can make some kind of wing mirror. Still not sure about that. I'm not sure whether it's possible or not. But yeah, as far as that going together, I'm really happy with that. I think it looks nice. So I put grease everywhere and I put switch lubricant on. So I'm hoping once I power it all up, it's going to be good. What I'll do is. Okay, so they're both done now, and from a bit of a distance they actually look really good. I'm really happy with them. They've come out better than I thought they would do. I ended up using just a needle to do it because my paintbrush was a bit big, but if you have a look at this one here, this one's like got blue eyes with then dark eyebrows, and I've done different shades of pink to the skin as well. So I did like blue eyes and a black pupil in the middle, so white, then a circle of blue, then a circle of black, and it looks pretty good, I think, for someone that's not an artist. And there, this one here I've done slightly lighter. I've done like hazel eyes and also lighter eyebrows as well. I'm really happy with them. I think they've come out pretty good. Look quite realistic from a distance. Right, let's get them fitted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to angle this one's face slightly that way to make it look a bit more realistic, rather than both just looking in exactly the same direction. So I think now that looks pretty good. Just looking here, I've noticed that this seat hasn't been painted black, so I'm going to paint the seat black just to match the other one, but then I'm probably not going to do any more to this. go. I know I said I wasn't going to do any more, but I thought I'd just neaten it up. So basically what I did is I coloured in the wheel on the inside here, you know, the spokes and stuff, coloured the seat black, did this kind of map type thing. I mean, I don't know what co-drivers have, whether it's a map or just whether it's just a list of bullet points, I don't know. But and also I just tried to colour this in sort of grey, the same colour as this. Obviously I haven't got the same grey, but you know, remember when you're looking through the window of the car, it's going to look better now than it did before. So the yellow is PS6 and the blue is PS4. So I've just popped the motor back in just to see if the wheels are spinning. Now I've got to be careful because I'm still waiting on that motor mount to arrive, so this motor's loose. But let me just see if it's going to work. Let's turn it on. That's better. Yeah, so there's definitely 3 speeds. If you listen, you can hear the sound difference, and also if you have a look at this speed controller here, watch this. 1 speed, 2 speeds, 3 speeds. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be okay. So once we get the wheels on, we'll put them on. It looks like it's really towing in at the moment, but I think when the wheels go on, the weight will go up, and can you see then it starts to tow out. Yeah, that's it. I just need to concentrate more on the body for the time being, use some plastic weld to get it together, and then we can you know, get the rest of the spares and finish up. Plastic welding pens just to weld up the cracks, and it has worked. It is now one piece of plastic again, but if it got any sort of impact at all, which is going to happen, you're going to crash this and roll this, then it's just going to break again. So what I'm going to do is, it's not going to look as nice, because right now it looks pretty good, but it's on the inside so nobody's going to see it. I'm going to use some fibre tape just across the damaged bits, and hopefully that will give it more chance of staying together if it did get in a few bashes. So there you go, what I've done is I've just put this cloth tape along here now. It sort of blends in okay, and hopefully that's going to give it more strength for when I drop it, just like that. And also, can you see the back 2 corners here? I've also put cloth tape in the corners here. So hopefully now that should give it a little bit of strength. And it's starting to look really good. So let's pop this on here. There we go. Remember, I've got to put the inside in it yet. But it's starting to look really nice, and I mean, look at that, it really has come up very shiny. So yeah, I think once we get the tyres on this and get the inside in and then give it one final clean up, I think it's going to look amazing. Right, so what I'm waiting on now is spares, plenty and plenty of spares, and then when they arrive I can finish it all off. So I've just been working on this little wing mirror here, and it's starting to take shape now. I need to sand it down more and then spray it, but this is the good side here. I think by the time I finish it probably will look better with it than without it. It needs to clip into place like that. So what I've used is a 3D pen, I've used some navy plastic, and I've used a Dremel tool to get it into shape, you know, one of these little sort of hobbyist tools, and now I'm sanding it down at the moment. So that's going to keep me busy for a bit. So my new tyres have arrived and they fit absolutely perfectly. Compare them to the old ones, they look to be exactly the same, so that's good news. Now what I'll have to do is, they're already a snug fit, but I'm just going to roll them back and I'm just going to put a couple of bits of glue, maybe 4 bits of glue, a bit here, a bit here, a bit here and a bit here, just on the front and back, so a little bit of super glue, so then in the future if they need to come off again it'd be easy to break, just a dot of super glue. Now they're looking well. I am tempted, I don't think I'm going to do it, but it would be tempting to put the complete new wheels on, because these are so nice and bright and white, it would make the model look like brand new. But the thing is, these are a lot more detailed, and in keeping with the original model, I think it is going to look better just to have the you know, the original wheels that came with the model. Now interestingly enough, on these ones they've got foam, which I haven't seen before. So there's actually foam on the inside of it here. So I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe it's to stop flat spots, or to just give it a little bit more, you know, stop the tyres just going in. I'm not really sure what it's there for, but I'm going to keep it in there because that's how they came. Not sure if the original model would have had foam or not, but that's how these ones are made. Maybe they're slightly cheaper tyres. But look at that, it's starting to look really good now. Now the steering wheels arrived, this one here, and also the little gear shifter. So now I can pop them in their places and then paint them up, and hopefully then it will look a little bit more realistic. The motor mount has now arrived, so we can fit this. It's nice and new, there's no cracks or anything in that, so hopefully that will last a good amount of time, same as when the model was new. If it was to fail again, you can always get a metal version of it, an aluminium version, so perhaps that would be a little bit stronger. Also got the straw here for the antenna, and also a couple of clips, so once we fit all them, it is now complete. So next time you see this, hopefully we'll be taking it for a test drive. Okay, so I've changed out the motor mount now. You can see this is the broken one here. Put the straw in, we are ready to go. So I've left the cover off just to see how it's performing. So yeah, let's turn it on. Right, plug that in there. The motor's all connected up, turn on here. Right, let's just give it a quick test like this to begin with. Looking good. That's nice and smooth. Ah yes, that looks good. Right, okay, let's just do a little test drive around the kitchen. Make sure it's going in a straight line. Okay, I don't think I need to trim that, it seems to be going okay. What I notice is with the mechanical speed controllers, you can't do really slow speeds. This is the slowest speed you can do, which is actually quite fast, you know, if you wanted to drive it round inside. So with the electronic speed controllers, the ESCs, they have a much wider range of speeds on them. Right, well I think that feels like it's perfect. Steering does small bits and big bits. Yeah, I'm well happy with that. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is put the body on it, show you all around it, and then we'll take it out, maybe take it into some bit of off-road racing, I think. Okay, so let's pop the nice new battery in. This is 3,300 milliamp hours. Clip it into place using this little clip here. There we go. It's quite loose compared to the other battery. Hold on. Oh, look at that, it's slightly smaller. Right, okay. Not much, but it's enough to make a difference, because this one fits
when you have this one in, it fits nice and snug. You see there's not much rattle there. But this one is a bit of movement. See? Quite a bit of movement. Alright, we'll have to see whether that rattles around the place. I wonder if that's going to put extra pressure on this clip here or not. Right. Well, this is the one I'll include anyway, because this is brand new, because my other one's a couple of years old. Right, okay, so let's give you a nice close-up now of it. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So it's still far from perfect, there's loads of scratches and stuff on it, but the main thing is now it's clean and it's complete. As to my knowledge, there's nothing broken on it. Right, let's pop the cover on. So I've also got a charger here, but this is a slow charger, so this will take hours and hours. It says in there the charge rate. Can't remember what it was, I only quickly glanced through the instructions. Personally, I have a fast charger, but with that one there, it's a slow charger, so I think it's going to be like 100 milliamp hours per 30 minutes or something. So on a battery like this, you're probably going to be looking at about 16 or 17 hours to charge up, which is a huge amount of time. Actually, let me show you this now. So what I did is I cut open this bit here because apparently it was supposed to be cut open with to let the heat out from this, because I noticed originally there were some burn marks around here, and it's because it was resting, well, not resting on it, but it was only a couple of millimeters above this, so I had to cut that out there. But you can see now that the repairs that have been done, and at the back as well. So hopefully now it will be okay. New steering wheel and also the gear shifter as well. More work could be done to the inside to make it look better, you know, if you were good at painting and had the time. All I've done is just given them eyes basically, and done a bit of shading and stuff on the face. Also I did a little map thing over here just to make it look a little bit more realistic. This is just insulation tape here, black insulation tape going across the front. Right, let's pop it on. I'll get the clips on. Here we go. That is it. Right, let's bring it down low and show you all around it. So, one thing I don't like about it is the body seems to overhang the wheels by quite a bit, so it's quite a narrow, this TA01 is quite a narrow chassis, which I suppose is more like a real car, but I'm not sure whether the real Ford Escort, the rally one, would have had the wheels so far into the bodywork. Do you know what I mean? But it's looking good. So compared to what it did look like, I'm really happy with how this has gone. I think it's come up nice. Also, K-Reg in the UK, because I used to have a G-Reg car, which is 1990, so A, B, C, D, F, G. H would be 91. I, there wasn't. J would be 92, so K would be 93. So that is a UK registration that actually can age the car, because this came out in 1993. So it's not bad for a car that could possibly be 25 years old. As I said earlier, I don't know if this particular model is 25 years old or not, but I don't know when they stopped producing it, but it probably would have been 3 or 4 years later. So you're definitely looking at something which is over 20 years of age. So it's looking good. So really happy with how it's come out. Right, so all we have to do now is do a little bit of racing, and these are my other models. I've got a Grasshopper over here. That was a cheap one. You can get that including the kit, you know, with the controller and everything, the transmitter for £110.
Super Clodbuster here, that's a re-release. This one here is a re-release. In fact, I think, yeah, they're all re-releases, so none of these are the vintage ones. This is the only original vintage I have. These are all re-releases, but Clodbuster was super expensive. Can't remember how much it is, but that one has like 2 motors. You need a special electronic speed controller for each of the motors, so it's quite complicated, that one. Also, that has 4-wheel steering, so when it turns a corner, this will go that way and the back wheel will go the opposite way, so it can do like quite sharp corners. Clodbuster, if you were doing it on road, is absolutely rubbish, but off-road it's a lot of fun. And the Lunchbox. Now the Lunchbox thing I don't like about it is it's all these are 1/10 scale, so in other words 10 times smaller than the real thing, 10 times smaller than the real thing, 10 times smaller than the real thing. This one here is 12 times smaller than the real thing, so the scale's slightly different on this one, but still a lot of fun. Quite a cheap model. I think you can get that, including the transmission and stuff, for around about £150. This one does a lot of wheelies. There's a little wheelie bar at the bottom there. So, you know, a lot of fun can be had with that. So what we have to do now is take this outside, and although it's nice and clean now, I think it's time to get it a little bit dirty. I almost forgot to show you the wing mirror. Now, with the wing mirror, it's only just barely worth putting on. It's just a tiny bit better than not having it there at all. So I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. It was just a lot harder than I expected, and I sliced up my finger while doing it as well. But yeah, so here it is. So this is the proper one here. And you can see on that side there, all looks nice and professional, as you would expect from Tamiya. And this is the My Mate Vince one. So it's okay. It's okay from a distance, but it's not good. So I mean, if you were into your models, to me, I would leave it on there. It's fine. But if you're into your models, then you're going to have to really replace that with something. You know, try to get a spare from somewhere. But I couldn't find any spares for that. But I have done it, you know, all the way through. It does clip on and stuff like it should do. But it's just, you can see there, it's quite holed and pitted and stuff like that. Maybe a couple of more layers of paint would have done better. But, you know, to be honest, that already took me about 3 or 4 hours. So it took me a serious amount of time. But overall, if you look at it from a distance, like if you look at it from here, for example, then it kind of looks, I think it looks better with it. Yeah. Right, let's do some racing. So here we have it outside now. Let's turn it on. My son's going to be using it for the first time. Right, you go for it. Oh, it seems smooth, does it? Yeah. Does it need to be trimmed up or not? Oh, don't go too far that way because a car might come. Seems quite fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like the distance is okay. Woohoo! And back again. That's fast. Should we go off-road?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring it over here. Bring it up this bit here, Ben. Gently up the curve. That's it. And back again. Oh, look at that. It looks good in this, it looks good with the leaves and everything. And 4-wheel drive, it will cope with this all right. Whoa. Can I have a quick go?
Yeah.
That feels good. Also with the 4-wheel drive, it seems to kind of skip over the surface pretty good. But wouldn't really want it to be any rougher than this though. Right, let's do some close-ups. So there we have it, the Ford Escort RS Cosworth. So I think that was quite a good buy. Really enjoyed doing this one. Out of all of them, I think this was probably one of my favourites. So if you're interested in buying this one, check out the eBay link down below. Hopefully I will make a bit of profit on this. And now I need to move on to part number 5 of this series with Steve from TronicsFix. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos and how-to videos, and also the rest of this series as well. Take care. Bye now. Say bye, Ben.
Bye.
Right. See you later.